Let training be the driver of your progress, and let nutrition be the supplement to that. This shift in focus to becoming performance-minded is what is going to help you become the athlete who achieves the results they're looking for. No athlete in the world, in the history of all time, got great at anything by how well they eat. That you start treating yourself like an athlete if you want to take the results to the next level.
Today I'm going to teach you exactly why a focus on nutrition itself is the very thing that is holding you back from seeing the results you want to see. This whole idea of it's 80% nutrition, 20% training is BS. This whole idea of, training is the easy part, nutrition is the things that's difficult for me right now. Like, yeah, I'm already getting to the gym consistently, regularly. Like, I love it already, but nutrition, that's the thing, man. If I just had better accountability, or maybe if I just had the best meal plan for myself to follow, I'd just be a lot better. Consistency and discipline is not hard with the gym, but with nutrition, man, that's the struggle. Well, my thing is, if nutrition was the answer for being exactly where you would want to be, proud of who you see in the mirror, being the example you want to be for others in your life, confident as all out shit in yourself, half naked, baking in the sun outside right now during the summer, you'd already be where you want to be. At some point, you have to realize that everything that you think you know about developing your physique and making more progress should probably be left behind if every year you look the same. Every year you are stuck losing and gaining the same 15 pounds. It feels like all of this effort that you're putting in, all this time that you're putting in, investing into your health and fitness journey, you look in the mirror and it's like, man, these results just don't match up all of this work that I'm putting in. And that is difficult to bear because, yes, you love fitness. You're passionate about it. It gives you energy. It gives you purpose. It helps you in every other aspect of your life. But when it becomes the very thing that actually hurts your confidence because you just sit there and you question yourself man, why can't I just be more accountable? Why can't I be more disciplined? Why am I not consistent? Then it becomes the thing that actually pushes down your self-esteem rather than brings it up. So what is the real answer? The real answer is your training. And you might say, Chad, I don't have a problem with going to the gym. It's not a problem with showing up. It's the fact that you are simply working out and you are not training. It is the fact that you are leaving 3 reps on the table every single set due to your technique failing before your muscles get even close. Let's really break this down numerically for this to make sense and for you to get some perspective here. If you are leaving 3 reps on the table about every single set due to technique failing, due to you even getting close to failure relatively, which is needed for growth, by the way. You do need to be within 3 reps shy of failure without your technique failing for you to stimulate your muscle for growth and development and adaptation and for your physique to change. Let's say that you do that for 3 reps a set over a 12-set workout. That is 36 reps a session that you are leaving on the plate. If you do that over the course of 4 sessions a week, that is 144 reps a week that you are leaving on the plate. You do that for a month, and that is 576 reps on the plate a month. Just think about that for a second. 576 reps. That's 2 more sessions a week. It's not about going to the gym 6 or 7 times a week. It's about being as effective as possible with what fits your schedule the best and what is best available for you to adhere to. So no wonder you're in a plateau if that's the case. The thing is this. No matter what gas you put in a car, the car will not run without its engine. No matter how healthy you eat, your physique will not change without its engine. And your physique's engine is training. I do not care how perfect you are with your macros. I do not care how disciplined you are with a meal plan. Your physique will not change, will not adapt, will not develop muscle tissue if your training is not excellent. Period. End of story. End of discussion. When you are in the gym training with excellent technique, pushing sets close to failure without your technique breaking down, it is physically impossible to not be responsible with your nutrition. This is what I mean. If you're in the gym, and I mean training, you're not working out, you're in the gym, you're pushing it hard, like your breaths are getting shorter towards the end of your set, and you're like, holy shit, this is hard. Last couple reps are left, and it's like, fuck, I don't even know if I'm gonna make this set, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through, but you keep going anyways. That's how you know you're really training hard. If you are finding yourself in a panic state, if you are finding yourself getting distracted, if you are finding yourself, once the burn accumulates, wanting to get out of the set as fast as you possibly can, I either A, can probably guess that you're ending the set sooner than you're supposed to create growth and adaptation, or B, you are bailing out of it with momentum and poor technique when you should stay strict all the way through and make the last reps of the set just as good, if not better, than the first reps of the set. And that takes skill. That takes time to develop. It is difficult to develop. But when you focus your attention there, you begin demanding your physique to develop, grow, and change its shape. Because adding more muscle tissue to your frame is what is going to change its shape. Adding more muscle tissue to your frame is what's going to give you muscle definition. And I can save this for another time or another episode, but the thing is, you have to have muscle definition to have the physique that you want. You're not going to fat loss yourself to your dream physique if there's not already muscle tissue there in the first place. Muscle tissue is responsible for how healthy your metabolism can be. It is responsible for how easy fat loss can be. And then it is also responsible for how effectively well you are able to stay lean all year round. The beautiful thing about muscle is not only does it again change the shape in your physique, but it allows you to look leaner even when you are not at super low levels of body fat. So again, training, not working out, but training hard with great technique, using a full range of motion, close to failure, that will demand you to eat enough calories, enough protein, and enough carbs to keep up with the progress that you are making. There is no other choice. There is no other choice. When you are training hard and pushing for adaptations, your body will respond with more hunger to keep up. And if you do not keep up with that hunger, if you choose to not eat enough, then you can expect to hit plateaus and walls in the gym and under-recover and not be able to continue progressing at the rate in which you could progress if you were fueling your training enough to keep it going. But it starts with demanding the adaptation from your body first. Then nutrition becomes the supplement to that. I could not imagine eating an extra large pizza every fucking night before hitting legs in the morning. I'd probably feel like ass. So if I am choosing shit quality food and filling up my calories with shit quality food all the time, I'm probably also going to feel like shit in the gym and perform like shit. And if I'm performing like shit, there's no chance in hell I'm making good progress. So there is really no way in hell that you can train with excellent quality and intensity and undereat or eat like an asshole all the time. Again, you're just gonna flat out run into walls of fatigue, burnout, feeling like shit. Professional athletes cannot show up through an entire season under eating, can they? No. They have professional nutritionists that are helping them maintain their shape and giving them enough energy to keep going through a long and hard season. At some point, if you say you want to change, if you say you want glutes, delts, a visible core, a physique that makes you look like you worked out, a physique that makes Your friends' partners go home and question them why the hell they don't take care of themselves the way that you do. You're going to need to start training like an athlete. Focusing on food alone is an easy way to spiral into food focus. It's an easy way to spiral into thinking you just flat out suck at eating. You have no accountability, you have no consistency, you have no discipline. That is not a productive mental or emotional state to be in all the time. You had to think about that. Thinking that nutrition is the struggle. Wishing that, man, if my nutrition was just better, I was more consistent with it, then I'd be where I want to be. Like, no wonder you're so food focused. No wonder you beat yourself up so much. It's because you're focused on all the right things. All the wrong things, I mean. When you should be focused on how training is going to empower you to be more responsible with your food and with your nutrition. I'm going to go into some steps right now that can improve, and some actionable steps. So take some notes wherever you are right now, take some notes, listen closely, to improve your training drastically while doing less volume, spending less time in the gym, so you never do not have a reason to crush it with food. Even if you find yourself finding some consistency and some good runs of being awesome with your food and just crushing your macros and eating so healthy, it's real easy to fall off when again, all the work you're putting in and all the diets you've tried, all the programs you've tried, results are just not reflecting the way that you want them to, or at the rate or at the pace in which you want them to. Or B, the only thing that you accomplish is, again, that 10 to 15 pounds lost that just end up coming right back on, leading you to look the same year over year in the grand scheme of things. That is ultimately what we want to avoid. No, you are not meant to make the most amount of tissue development and physique progress in your first 1 to 2 years of training. You will progress fast as a beginner, but if you are continuing to train like a beginner, you won't hit that next push of progress that is right there. That is right there. No, by the way, I don't want to hear, Chad, I'm past those beginner years, I'm intermediate, I'm advanced, I'm slowing down. No, you're not. No, you're not. And I promise you'd probably make a lot more progress when you stop looking at yourself as someone who's intermediate or advanced. You'd probably make a lot more progress if you put yourself in the beginner's mentality and you stay curious and you seek to always learn and understand more. So the first thing that I want you to focus on to step into training and step away from just working out is to practice a full range of motion. That means knees into the armpits on the leg press. That means dumbbells past the pecs when you're chest pressing. That means calves crushed against the hamstrings when you are training quads and glutes. The more of a muscle's range of motion that you engage, the larger the volume of muscle that you stimulate to grow. And by taking your joints through that full range of motion as well, not only do you keep them healthier, but you will keep them more stable, stronger, and you'll experience much less nagging pains. The really cool thing about practicing a full range of motion of training is that you can use less load externally, meaning that you can put less load on the bar, less load on the leg press machine, use lighter dumbbells, and also use significantly less volume, overall less sets, while creating the same amount of progress or the same amount of intramuscular force. Meaning that a full range of motion leg press that is taken close to failure, at least 3 reps shy of failure, versus knee sleeves, knee wraps, 10 plates, half range of motion on the leg press, close to failure, can produce the same amount of force in the muscle and produce the same amount of hypertrophy and growth response. So if that means that you can have a much lower risk of injury, and you don't need to spend all this time setting up 10 plates on the leg press, sorry, it might not look pretty for fucking Instagram, but trust me when I say half range of motion is never pretty. That's not the flex. It is 2024, and by the time that you're watching this episode, I hope you realize that great technique is the real flex. So why do we want to use full range of motion, and how can that produce the same amount of intramuscular force or the same hypertrophy response or growth response in comparison to half range of motion things with super heavy load? Well, full range of motion training allows you to fully stretch the muscle under tension. And the more stretch that you cause and the more stretch that you create when training causes growth and is the most beneficial aspect of every single rep that you do in the gym when it comes to creating hypertrophy and or muscle tissue development. So it is going to be much more effective, rep to rep, set to set, if you are getting into that full stretch and training the full volume of the muscle. Not only does that help with the effectiveness of each rep, but it also helps with the longevity in the gym. Much less injuries. You're much less prone to picking up a bunch of nagging joint pain by practicing continuing to put those joints through a full range of motion. And something that's super underrated that most people do not consider. When it comes to training versus working out, you're using a logbook. This could be its own separate point. But you're tracking and you're measuring the progress that you're making in the gym because, guys, what does not get measured does not get improved. Saying, all right, going into this next week, can I add load? Maybe. Should I add a rep? Is adding load maybe something I'm not ready for? Can I add a rep this next week? Okay, maybe can I add a total working set to progress that way? Can I get better with my range of motion? There's a ton of ways to progress in the gym that are more than just load. And here's the thing, if you're being diligent about tracking and measuring your data in the gym, you're giving yourself more of an opportunity to go into each session and improve, which the improvement session to session is again going to be the thing that drives more progress and demands more calories for you to consume, eat, and empowers you to take more responsibility with your nutrition goals as a whole to keep up. If you stop before full range of motion on any of your reps, let's say that you get 70% down on one rep, maybe you're 40% down on the next rep because things are getting hard, the burn's accumulating, holy shit, we're getting a little bit lazy, I just want to get the fuck out of here kind of thing. Going into the next week, if you look back at your progress, if you maybe even take a technique video of you training in the gym, you're like, man, I got to clean that up. I got to get deeper. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, you put on the same load, and you go into the next session, and it's like, wow, shit just got super hard. What the fuck? Like, I'm so much weaker. No. Your technique in your range of motion was so massively inconsistent last week that your progress as a byproduct is going to be massively inconsistent. So what I'm trying to point at here is that by practicing a full range of motion, go all the way up, all the way down, it's a lot easier to keep that kind of rep standard and consistent week over week than half repping things. Because again, you could see 70% down on one rep, 40% on the next, 50% on the next, 80% on the next, 20% on the next. And if your shit's all over the fucking place, then your measurements are all over the fucking place. And if your measurements are all over the fucking place, then that means that your results are all over the fucking place. The next thing, controlling your eccentrics. This is massively important. Not only is this linked to better results in terms of growth, but it allows you to focus a lot more when you are training. And that is the big thing that I don't think a lot of people think about when it comes to their training, is that focus is so important. Because again, as burn accumulates in the target muscle that you're training, as it gets really hard, think about you're on the set of leg extension and it's like shit's really fucking burning and you're wincing. It doesn't mean go faster during the eccentric. It means as the set goes down, even try to slow it down a little bit more. Naturally, it'll end up matching the control of that first or second or third rep. And when you start treating the eccentric like a rep itself during the set, meaning, okay, on the way up's a rep, on the way down's a rep kind of thing. And that's total of one, yes, but when you start treating the eccentric like its own thing, man, you'll feel not only a ton of mind-muscle connection and burn pickup, not only will we get a great pump from that, but it gives you the opportunity to really sit with that burn accumulation in the muscle and be like, I gotta focus through this. I can't bail out of this. I can't fail early. I have to practice good technique through this, and I have to not use momentum. And it requires a shit ton of focus, but that is one of the most underrated aspects of developing your physique, is developing the skill of learning to train with intensity and technique both. If you can master the art of that, you will put yourself in a completely different category when it comes to training. You'll put yourself in a completely different category as an athlete. And as a byproduct, your physique's going to want to change. And again, when your physique's demanding change from you, it's going to demand you to eat enough. It's going to demand you to eat a high quality diet so that way you continue to feel your absolute best when it comes to training. And you do get to a point to where you just flat out become obsessed with the idea of training hard and training good and training with awesome technique. And then the next thing you know, you're so focused on training, you're no longer so overly food focused, and you're like, damn, this has completely shifted the way I've looked at results. And trust me when I say, if you're stuck right now, not seeing the results you want to see, it's probably going to take that kind of shift to get you to the next level, because you will never get any further than your current set of beliefs allow you to go. If your current set of beliefs are, man, nutrition is just the hard part, I just got to pick it up on my nutrition, you're going to continue perpetuating the same loop and staying in the same spot. The last thing here that I would really want you guys to focus on is training with intensity. What does that mean? How do I know if I'm training intense enough? Again, sets are actually effective if you take them within 3 reps shy of absolute failure. By absolute failure, I mean your technique's not breaking down and is shitty. It means that you're really, really, really pushing close. Your reps by nature are going to probably slow down, and it's going to require a ton of focus for you to get through that. So again, it's a really tough pill to swallow, but muscle is not simulated much for muscle growth anywhere outside of 3 reps shy of failure. And 3 reps shy of failure, even though it's not failure, is fucking hard. Like, it is hard. It requires a lot of focus. And for me personally, when I know that I'm getting towards 3 reps in reserve, I'm like, oh my God, can I even get here? Like, focus in, slow it down. This is going to suck, but get through it. And it's a lot of self-talk that kind of picks up in my head. And I'd be lying to you. Sometimes I just don't want to, I just am having to convince myself not to bail. That's how I know that I'm getting close. So 3 reps shy of failure, again, is still hard. The concentric portion of the rep, meaning on the way up on a leg press, could be on the way down on a lat pull down, will look significantly slower than the first rep of the set. The first rep of the set might take a second and a half to get up, or a second. But the last rep of the set, if I'm thinking about the hack squat, holy shit. 3 reps in reserve on a hack squat for me, it's a solid 3.5 seconds on the way up. Like, it's 1, 2, 3, and I'm up in that rep. Well, that first rep, I'm like, all right, up, and I'm up. But that last rep, if I know I'm at 3 reps in reserve, it's like, up. If I'm 2 to failure, up. If I'm 1 to 0, up. Like, you have to start thinking about your concentric portions of the rep. Like that. The velocity, the speed in which they move is a great measure of how close you are getting to failure. When I mention failure as often as I am right now, it doesn't mean training to failure all the time. That's a topic for a different time. Because we want to ensure that we're able to recover quite consistently session to session. And leaving a few reps in the tank, getting the proper stimulus you need for growth, going into that next session and be recovered, ready to hit it hard again, that's how you're going to maximize the potential of your physique. Okay? So with that in mind, the big conclusion, the big take home with this is you have to let training be the driver of your progress and let nutrition be the supplement to them. This shift in focus to becoming performance-minded is what is going to help you become the athlete who achieves the results they're looking for. I'll leave you with this. No athlete in the world, in the history of all time, got great at anything by how well they eat. Besides Joey fucking Chestnut. So unless you want to become a professional hot dog eater, I would advise that you start treating yourself like an athlete if you want to take your results to the next level. Because I hope this episode was helpful. Share it with a friend who thinks that it's also 80% nutrition because they're lying to themselves. Again, they are probably lying to themselves because saying that they struggle with something and then not taking any action about it just for some reason makes them feel good about being in the same spot, and almost just kind of affirms like, oh my God, everybody struggles with nutrition. So like, I'm going to pull that card too. I'm going to say that too. And if I say these things, I can almost excuse myself out of taking action or challenging my own beliefs or going to learn something new. And it means that I can just stay right here. Convenient. Again, you're never going to get any further than your current set of beliefs that allow you to go. So shift this belief, focus on training, and go make a metric fuck ton of progress. And we'll catch you in the next episode.